Imagine this. You meet a man who seems indifferent, emotionally distant, almost impossible to read. But within weeks, maybe even days, his eyes light up when he sees you. His mind is consumed by thoughts of you, and his heart races at the mere sound of your voice. He is completely, utterly captivated by you. What if I told you that there is a formula, a set of psychological triggers that can make this happen? Today, I will reveal the secrets to making a man fall madly in love with you, so deeply that you become his priority, his addiction, his undeniable desire. And listen carefully, because the last one is the most powerful of all. It will change everything you thought you knew about attraction and emotional bonding. But before we dive in, take a moment to subscribe to Female Red Pill, like this video, and drop a comment below. Share this with a friend who needs to hear these truths, because what I'm about to say could reshape your entire approach to relationships. Trust me, you don't want to miss a second of this. Now let's start uncovering the truth about attraction and emotional attachment. Most people think love is a mysterious, unpredictable force, something that just happens. But the reality is very different. Love is a response to specific psychological triggers, and when you understand these triggers, you hold the power to create an unbreakable emotional bond. And no, this is not manipulation. This is about understanding male psychology at its core. One of the first secrets is something few women truly master: the power of scarcity. Think about this. Why do people desire rare gemstones? Why do collectors chase limited edition items? It's because we place the highest value on what is scarce or difficult to obtain. This applies to relationships as well. When a woman makes herself too available, constantly checking in, always ready to please, a man's subconscious devalues her. He sees her as something he can easily have, and what is easy is rarely exciting. This principle is backed by countless psychological studies, including those from Dr. Robert Cialdini, author of Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion. He explains that scarcity increases perceived value. This is why a man is far more drawn to a woman who is a bit unpredictable, someone who has a life outside of him, someone who he has to work to win over. And this is where most women go wrong. Society tells them to be nice, to give him everything, to prove their love. But what does this actually do? It suffocates attraction. A man must feel like he is pursuing you, earning you, and never fully possessing you. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Scarcity alone is not enough. If you are simply unavailable, distant, or playing hard to get without substance, he will lose interest. There's another layer to this secret: high-value presence. This means that when you are with him, you create an emotional high, a feeling of deep connection, admiration, and excitement. When he's around you, he should feel something different than what he feels with anyone else. Dr. Helen Fisher, a renowned biological anthropologist and author of Why We Love, explains that love is deeply tied to dopamine and the brain's reward system. When a man associates you with excitement, pleasure, and challenge, his brain literally starts craving your presence. So how do you do this? How do you make every moment with you something he longs for? One method is what I call the emotional contrast technique. This means creating moments of deep, meaningful connection, mixed with playfulness and lighthearted detachment. Women who only give a man deep emotional intensity can come across as overwhelming. Those who are only fun and playful may seem shallow. The secret is balance. One day, you share a meaningful story, something vulnerable that makes him feel special because you trust him. The next time, you tease him, playfully challenge him, make him work to win your attention. This unpredictability keeps him hooked, keeps his brain engaged, and makes him crave your presence even more. But here's the part that most women fail to understand. The real key is emotional safety combined with challenge. A man needs to feel like you are a place of comfort and warmth, but not a place of emotional dependency. If he feels that you need him more than he needs you, the dynamic shifts and attraction dies. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that the women who men obsess over aren't necessarily the most beautiful? They aren't always the youngest, the fittest, or even the most obviously appealing. So what is it that makes them irresistible? I'll tell you exactly what it is, but before that, if you're finding this eye-opening, let me know in the comments. Have you ever unknowingly made yourself too available? Have you ever felt a man lose interest even though you gave him everything? I want to hear your experiences, and don't forget, Subscribe to Female Red Pill because we are just getting started. Now let's move to the next secret, which is even more powerful. If you thought scarcity was important, wait until you hear what I'm about to reveal next. Now let's talk about something even more powerful than scarcity. Something that will make a man feel emotionally addicted to you. This secret is what I call the irreplaceability factor. Have you ever wondered why some men will move on quickly from one woman but become completely obsessed with another? The answer lies in one simple truth. Men don't fall in love with women. They fall in love with how they feel around them. When a man feels that the experience of being with you is something he cannot find anywhere else, his attachment to you becomes almost unbreakable. This is why physical beauty alone is never enough. A man may be attracted to looks, but he falls in love with a unique emotional experience. Let's break this down even further. Men, by nature, are drawn to challenge, admiration, and emotional security. If you provide these three elements in a way no other woman does, you become irreplaceable in his mind. Let's start with challenge. Men are wired to pursue, to strive, to earn. When something comes too easily, it loses its value. This isn't just psychological, it's biological. Studies in evolutionary psychology show that men feel a greater sense of reward when they have to put in effort to win a woman's affection. So how do you apply this? Most women make the mistake of trying to prove their worth to a man. They overinvest, overgive, and overexplain their feelings. This removes the element of challenge and makes the man feel as though he already has you, without any effort. The key is to make him feel like he is constantly earning your presence. Not in a manipulative way, but in a way that signals to him that you are a high-value woman with standards. For example, let's say he cancels plans last minute. Instead of responding with frustration or desperation, you simply become less available the next time he reaches out. No arguments, no drama, just a quiet shift in energy that makes him realize he is losing access to you. This activates a part of his brain that tells him, wait, I need to do better, or I might lose her. Now let's move to the second element of irreplaceability, admiration. Men don't just want to be loved, they want to be admired. A woman who understands how to feed a man's deep need for admiration will always have a stronghold over his heart. But, and this is key, it must be genuine admiration. Fake compliments or excessive flattery don't work because men can sense when it's forced. But when you recognize something specific about him, his ambition, his intelligence, his leadership, and you express it in a way that feels authentic, it triggers a deep emotional bond. For example, instead of saying, "You're so smart," say, "I really admire how you see solutions that other people miss. Your way of thinking is unique." See the difference? The second statement feels personal. It makes him feel understood. Dr. John Gottman, one of the world's leading relationship experts, found in his research that the strongest predictor of long-term attraction is admiration and respect. When a man feels deeply respected by a woman, his emotional connection to her intensifies. But admiration alone is not enough. This brings us to the third and final element, emotional security. Many women misunderstand this. They think emotional security means always being available, always being supportive, always being nice. But true emotional security is something deeper. It means a man feels safe to be himself around you, without fear of judgment. Think about it. Most men walk through life wearing a mask. Society tells them to be tough, to suppress emotions, to always be strong. But deep down, men crave a place where they can let their guard down. The woman who provides this without demanding it, without pressuring him to open up, becomes a rare and precious presence in his life. She becomes the one person he can be real with, and that is powerful. So, how do you create this level of emotional security? By listening without trying to fix him, by giving him space without assuming he doesn't care, by showing him that he is accepted as he is without needing to perform or impress you. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Most women fail at this because they let their emotions take control. When a man pulls away, they panic. When he is distant, they chase. And the moment they do this, they destroy the very dynamic that made him fall in love in the first place. So let me ask you something. Have you ever chased a man when he started pulling away? Have you ever felt like the harder you tried, the more distant he became? If so, let me know in the comments. I want to hear your experience. And if this is resonating with you, make sure you subscribe to Female Red Pill, because what I'm about to reveal next is the final and most powerful secret, the one that will make him feel an obsession so strong he will never see another woman the same way again. We're getting to the most critical part. Keep watching because what comes next will change everything. Now, let's get to the final and most powerful secret, the one that will make a man feel an obsession so deep that no other woman will compare to you. This secret is what I call the emotional imprint. A man may be physically attracted to a woman. He may admire her. He may even enjoy spending time with her. But if she doesn't leave a deep emotional imprint on him, he can walk away without hesitation. So what is an emotional imprint? It's the feeling that no one else will ever be able to replace you. It's the unique psychological mark you leave on his heart and mind that makes him feel like he will never experience this connection again with anyone else. And once a man feels this, he becomes deeply, emotionally bonded to you, sometimes without even understanding why. But here's where most women fail. They think an emotional imprint is created through constant availability, overgiving, or trying to love him more. But this actually has the opposite effect. It makes him feel trapped, overwhelmed, or worse, bored. The real way to create an emotional imprint is through 3 psychological triggers: unpredictability, shared experiences, and the forever contrast technique. Let's start with unpredictability. A woman who is too predictable becomes boring. A man's brain is wired for novelty and excitement. This is why so many men chase the thrill of new relationships. But you can create this same effect inside a long-term connection by becoming a woman who is full of surprises. This doesn't mean playing games or being inconsistent. It means keeping things fresh. For example, instead of always texting him first, disappear for a day and let him wonder what you're up to. Instead of always agreeing with his ideas, challenge him playfully, make him think. Instead of always planning predictable dates, do something unexpected. Men crave excitement. When he never knows exactly what you'll do next, but he knows it will always be intriguing, he will start thinking about you constantly. Now let's move to the second psychological trigger: shared experiences. Dr. Arthur Aaron, a psychologist famous for studying attraction, found that couples who engage in novel and exciting activities together form deeper emotional bonds than those who simply spend time together in routine ways. This means that if all your interactions with him are basic, dinners, Netflix, small talk, he may enjoy your company, but he won't feel an emotional imprint. But if you experience intense, thrilling, or meaningful moments together, whether it's traveling, trying something new, or even having deep philosophical conversations, you trigger the brain's bonding chemicals, making him associate those intense emotions with you. Now, listen carefully because this last part is the most powerful psychological trick of all. It's called the forever contrast technique. Here's how it works. A man will always compare every future woman he meets to the one who made him feel the most alive. Most women make the mistake of being too much of one thing, either too nurturing or too independent, too emotional or too detached, too serious or too playful. But the women men never forget are the ones who create a contrast. They are a paradox. They are soft but also strong. They are kind but also challenging. They are loving but never desperate. This creates mystery and depth, and it ensures that no other woman ever quite matches up to the standard you set. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that after some breakups, men seem unable to move on from certain women? They keep looking for them in every other woman they meet, but they never find the same feeling. That's because those women left an emotional imprint. If you've ever wanted a man to never forget you, to feel like no other woman can replace you, to desire you on a deep emotional level, this is how you do it. But remember, this isn't about manipulation. This is about understanding male psychology so that you can create a relationship where he chooses you over and over again, not out of obligation, but out of deep, undeniable attraction. And now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a man who seemed obsessed with you at first but then lost interest? Or maybe you were the woman he could never forget. Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Female Red Pill because in the final part of this video, I will reveal the ultimate truth about long-term attraction. The one thing that makes a man stay in love forever. We're almost at the most important revelation. Keep watching. What comes next will change everything you thought you knew about love. Now, we have arrived at the ultimate truth, the one thing that makes a man stay in love forever. You've learned how to create desire, how to make him feel emotionally addicted to you, and how to leave an imprint so deep that no other woman will compare. But all of this means nothing if you don't understand the final key, and that key is the deepest fear in every man. You see, men don't just fall in love with a woman, they fall in love with the version of themselves that they become when they are with her. Let me repeat that. Men fall in love with the version of themselves they become around you. A man might be attracted to a woman's looks. He might even enjoy her company. But the moment he feels less like a man around her, his attraction starts to fade, no matter how much he loved her at first. And this is where most women unknowingly destroy attraction. They try to control him. They criticize him. They make him feel small, inadequate, or not enough. Even if she doesn't mean to, even if it comes from love, the moment a man feels like he is losing his masculine identity in a relationship, he will instinctively start pulling away. This is because a man's deepest fear is not failure, not rejection, but feeling like he is not respected. A man needs to feel that he is winning in life. He needs to feel like a protector, a leader, someone worthy of admiration, and the moment he feels like he is failing in your eyes, he will either shut down emotionally or start looking for validation somewhere else. So how do you keep a man in love forever? You become the woman who makes him feel like a king, not by worshiping him, not by sacrificing yourself, but by creating a space where he feels powerful, respected, and capable whenever he is around you. This doesn't mean never challenging him. In fact, the most unforgettable women are the ones who challenge a man, but in a way that inspires him, not in a way that makes him feel attacked. Instead of saying, "Why do you always do this?" say, "I see so much potential in you and I know you're capable of more." Instead of saying, "You never make time for me," say, "I love when you take charge and plan things. It makes me feel so wanted." Do you see the difference? One makes him feel like he's failing. The other makes him feel motivated to do better. And when a man feels like a king in your presence, he will never want to leave your kingdom. This is why so many men never get over certain women, because those women made them feel like they were at their best when they were with them. And once a man experiences that, he will spend his life chasing that feeling. So now I ask you, are you the woman a man will never forget? Or are you unknowingly pushing men away without realizing it? Let me know in the comments. And if this video opened your eyes, make sure you subscribe to Female Red Pill, because I have even deeper secrets coming that will change everything you thought you knew about love and attraction.